Let's get ready to rumble. Bring the noise.
Hello everyone and welcome to the grand finals of Jet Set Radio Future Bingo, the only bingo with both Jet Set Radio Future and Bingo. Live with you today, it's me, Aspats, and today we have the culmination of 2 months of Bingo where we'll finally find out who will be the champion of Season 4. Will it be Crabbi on the brown team, the mad scientist of Jet Set Radio Future discovering the most insane combinations of strategies to achieve victory, or will it be Yomsa on the pink team, one of the many legendary Canadians of Jet Set Radio Future, known for their ability to achieve goals and do it quickly? The only thing we know for sure is today we will see two players in a best-of-5 match, which will be commentated by two legendary commentators. And speaking of, today in the commentators box we have the duo that thought Lumberjacks tracked their performance by keeping a log. It's Eclapricious and 7th Ace.
Oh, we have waited. Long have we waited for the Ace Bats live intro. Thank you, Ace Bats. And welcome back, everybody, to JSRF Bingo Season 4 Finals. Yomsa versus Crabbi. I'm excited.
I'm excited, and it's the matchup we all expected. It's the matchup we all wanted, it's the matchup we got, and I'm still excited for it. It was a fun route all the way through. Yomsa sweeping every match, except for the Ryomi match, because Ryomi Chaos then defeating Nago in the semifinals. Crabbi winning every match in the round-robin phase, then beating myself 2-1 in the semifinals.
Yeah, so pretty much identical match scores for these players right now, I believe.
They do. However, Yomsa's only game L was to Ryomi and Crabbi was to me.
Yeah, so honestly, this is going to be an epic. I think there's no other way to describe it. We have seen these two players kind of just dominate the tournament so far, and continue to innovate as well as the tournament has gone on. And I'm really excited to see what they have coming into the finals match, because, well, honestly, I'm still thinking about your semi-final match versus Crabbi, where you said at the very end that you played the way that you would need to play to beat Yomsa, and both of you did. And there's, I think, a lot of that coming into this match is understanding the tendencies of each other as players, and also kind of, this is the culmination of an entire season's worth of 1v1 strategy being built up and innovated, because it's been so long since we played 1v1 in that competitive content.
Yeah, and Crabbi and Yomsa have played against each other more than any other combination of people have even practiced this season. They're extremely prepared. They both know what they're going to do, and how we'll have good medicals to make against each other. So I'm really excited to see these players both mind game each other and themselves a little bit throughout the series.
Yeah, I mean, if there's one criticism I could have maybe about the way that Crabbi's played the game, it's been sometimes overthinking, but when you're up against the very best players, you don't know whether you're overthinking or you're thinking just the right amount. So, yeah, the mind game is going to be really, really interesting in this match. Let's get a look at the board, because it looks like our players are ready. So, game 1.
Ooh, this is a spicy one. We've got the bottom left, top right diagonal, I think is the most notable one. 4 defaults and a Speedy Sewers grind, all in Kogane, means that is going to be a threat. Now, I expect both players to identify this and be able to block it, but it's going to be a very big part of the beginning of the mid-game, and even early decision-making as we go ahead and get our countdown going. Do we open into Shibuya? We've got Shibuya grind, South Hayashi and Chuo points, all relatively quick. Or do we need to go immediately out to the Kogane side and block or threaten that very important diagonal?
Yeah, I mean, and the way you identified that diagonal, I think it's going to be, that's going to be a fight for board control. It's going to be a case of who grabs what on this very, very quick diagonal, setting up for things going on later in the game, because, you know, you can look at the Pro 4, for example, or Column 5. These aren't speedy, but they are at least located within 2 areas. Early control on that diagonal could set up for future bingos. So it would be a massive surprise, I think, if we saw that diagonal bingo secured, but whoever gets what is definitely going to be very important in deciding how the mid-game looks.
All right, countdown is done. Players minus some stream lag are going. All right, we do have a little bit of stream advantage for Yomsa, so keep that in mind. By about 2 seconds is how far she's ahead, as she goes out to Dogen, and Crabbi is going to open up into Kogane, so is going to take that gambit.
Okay, this is really interesting then. Crabbi just not even engaging with the early Shibuya control, and just going straight for what there is in Kogane, which, I mean, Kogane is really, really strong.
Definitely agree with that. You know, there's not a critical mass of squares that really matters in Shibuya, and I think Yomsa might have even taken that as a stall square to start out. See where Crabbi goes. Yomsa does appear to be heading out to the Kogane area, as Crabbi is going to mark Sauna here in just a couple seconds.
Yeah, and I think we've seen Yomsa do this a couple times, just kind of going for a safe early square that won't be contested so that she can see what the opponent is doing and react accordingly whilst not dropping. This is a tendency that I think she's had in a few of her games up until this point. Now she knows that Crabbi is in Kogane, but Crabbi does pick up that center square sauna, which is so strong.
Yep, center square looking good so far, but now with that information, Yomsa's going to be first out into Kogane. Where do they to split out? We've got 3 different areas with 4 different souls that need to be picked up. Kibo up or platform, probably the least important, but 2 here in sewers could allure the players into trying to do things, and Crabbi has missed a jump, which is leaving him quite far behind here.
Hold on. That was some interesting movement from Crabbi. Just kind of stuck in the pit. Got Graham.
Just a bit. And that's going to with
Yomsa ahead.
Yeah, with a good jump up, Yomsa's going to be ahead into this sewers route. So Crabby's going to, once he sees it in stream delay catches up, bail out to the bottom point. But this has given Yomsa a very nice leverage along the column 1, as there's a moderate threat there. Not super fast, but also not super slow either.
Yeah, and Sewers in general has a lot of good stuff that Yomsa's already picked up 2 of. There is Meter Room, of course. It wouldn't be bingo finals without it, but also tricks. And just doing like a full clear of Sewers feels like it doesn't suck. If you can nail the mines, it's pretty quick.
Yeah, especially if Yomsa just goes up here and marks points first. Or just unlocks points, but doesn't do anything with it. I think that would be a very wise play at this juncture. Maybe unlocking something else if needed.
Yeah, and so Crabby's committed to bottom point here and has picked up tricks. I believe there's also right half pipe here, which he hasn't got quite yet.
Yeah.
I guess he'll get that on the way back out. So it's not bad, and it does give him some control on the other diagonal, which we didn't really talk about because it does have that sewers graffiti on it. But it's better than nothing. And Crabby's actually just skipping that default. I feel like that's a mistake. Strategically, it's not incredibly powerful, but at this stage of the game, points are points.
I'm actually a big fan of Crabby bailing out on this. Yomsa now, we see with God Vision that Yomsa's only about 5-ish seconds ahead of Crabby out, as opposed to 20 to 30 seconds that Yomsa would be. She would have full map control and be able to go anywhere, rather than Crabby just, rather than where it is right now, where it's very contested. So I like this a little more for Crabby currently, but obviously the board position favors Yomsa being up a pair of points.
Yeah, interesting to see both players leaving Kogane now. Still plenty of stuff on the board there, but a lot of it is very slow. There's some Kibo stuff, there's some really long sewer stuff left in that area of the map, and both of them are just looking to find some faster points elsewhere. So Yomsa slightly ahead into 99th Street, and Air 4 is a very quick return on investment here, so it looks like Crabby is just going to get sniped to this one.
Yep. God, Yomsa, such a clean unlock there.
Yeah, it looks like Crabby's going for the exact same thing and does it just as clean.
A clean unlock.
Yeah.
So Crabby is going to attempt to bail out. Both of them fail the fastest bailout, though. And so now Crabby, once again, feeling behind towards behind Yomsa, and rightfully so.
Yeah, this is a very Yomsa game already. It takes that early control and just runs with it all the way to the bank.
Yep. Just a little bit better off the break, going from Dogen into the deeper parts of Kogane first were really doing her a lot of good. And now both of them look like they're going over to Hikage to contest that row 1. If Crabby doesn't get this square, it's going to be dire straits. Actually, they're both going to Shibuya. Okay.
Yeah, still plenty of stuff here. Since Crabby went straight to Kogane off the break, Yomsa just wanted that stall square. So Crabby falling down there. Huge deficit here.
Crabbers.
Some uncharacteristic kind of movement issues for Crabby in this first game.
Yeah, it'll be part of getting over the nerves of, playing in, the big match. I know Crabby's on the record and saying he gets nervous at how fun the matches are, and, not that there are necessarily stakes to it, but, it does matter. So now Crabby down a quartet of points is in a whole heck of a lot of trouble here.
Yeah, the fact that Yomsa gets that kind of luxury tape pickup in Shibuya grind, and then still gets ahead into Hikage to pick up Cubby, not even going for special? Interesting. So this might be Yomsa trying to play the mind games with Crabby, showing that she's in Hikage for that bingo, and maybe baiting Crabby into going to FRZ to block the bingo.
Could be. Let's see where Crabby opts to go. Crabby seems to be making a beeline for Dogen.
Dogen has the Air 3 and Graffiti on that column 3, so bingo threat of his own with a Graffiti on it. Certainly feels pretty strong, but it looks like Yomsa's read that.
Yep. With all the cans, though, Yomsa is going to go specifically for Air 3 to block, and then that does leave that row 5 available with only 2 Benton unlocks. I think this board is spiraling out of control very quickly for Yomsa. Not unexpected after some early snipes, but if Crabbi drops down in this section before, by the time Yomsa marks it, which seems very likely, this game may end relatively quickly. There's the commitment from Crabbi, so he is stuck here until this route is done.
Yeah, that's really rough, and that may be where Yomsa kind of finishes the game here, with Crabbi kind of locked in into Dogen. She can go wherever she likes with so many threats available on the board. Still the row 1, still the row, the column 1, row 1 will be denied by Dogen Graffiti, likely. Column 1 as well. And there's still 2 more Graffitis on the board, so mathematically I feel like this game is still alive, but huge advantage for Yomsa.
Crabbi's heart drops there as Dogen Air 3 is marked. And all of a sudden he realizes the situation that he is now in. I mean, this is a no-win kind of scenario. Yomsa's probably going to recommit to Hikage as well to threaten out row 1. There's just no winning scenario for Crabbi here. And it's, I mean, even Yomsa just has to grab points to win at this point. First to 16. Means that she's already halfway there with no Graffitis.
Yeah, really strong early game gambit from Yomsa, and I really like this opening play that she's gone for with, like you said, it's like a stall square right at the very beginning of the game to get information on where your opponent is, and that gets her into sewers ahead of Crabbi, and she picks up so many points there. You know, even like with Crabbi's movement notwithstanding, it's still a really good look in the early game. And I want to see if Crabbi finds a way to respond to that in future games, because I feel like that's a tendency that Yomsa has shown several times.
Ooh, Crabbi just missed a jump. But yeah, I totally agree with you that, you know, Yomsa, more than any person in this tournament, wins the game before the 5 to 10 minute mark. She is incredible with her movement at the beginning of the game, making a beeline to every square necessary extremely quickly, and that's what makes her such a powerful competitor in this tournament, is just how clean everything is while also being properly optimized. So, you know, you have the powerful combination of, you know, world record tier movement with 2K chess strategy. I mean, what more can you ask in a bingo player?
Yeah, it really does sound ideal.
And that's
also, they've called it. Yeah, they've called GG there with Yomsa threatening 2 bingos. Crabbi just then finishing off the Dogen. No real clear route to victory, even if mathematically that game wasn't decided.
Yeah,
game 1 goes over to Yomsa.
Yeah, totally agree with that. I am a yeller of preemptive GG since 2010, and that's not preemptive. That game is over. So, yeah, that's a quick win again. 10-minute game to start out, and Crabbi's going to have to quickly recompose, build a new board, and see what can happen here in game number 2.
Yeah, looks like we're getting straight into it. Both players ready to go for game 2. Keeping their hands warm, I suppose. And let's take a peek. Board number 2.
All right, another Kogane heavy area. This one 12, but a lot of them seem much longer. We have a lot fewer defaults that are important. From what I see, I can only see 4 fast squares in Kogane here. But
yeah, in terms of just quick squares in general, this board doesn't have a lot of them, and most of them are in Benton, in Dino and Highway 0, you know, the defaults. And that's not fast, you know, as fast as it may be to pick them up. You got to get all the way out there, and you don't want to be out there with only 7 Benton squares on the board. So this is going to be, I would imagine, a slower paced game.
Yeah, I really like this. This is kind of a board that Crabbi would need to bring it back on. You can't lose this board in 5 minutes unless, you don't mark anything for 5 minutes.
Definitely does feel a little bit more advantageous for the way that Crabbi wants to play the game. Dogen Graffiti has come back as well, but FRZ and Hikage longer routes board number 2. Yeah, I mean, I look at this board and I'm no bingo strategic genius, but there's no one bingo that really stands out to me as amazing.
No, I agree with you there. Kogane gets you close to maybe top left, bottom right, but that's going to be about it. So, let's see where we start. We have a double Kogane start again, or rather, again for Crabbi, but new for Yomsa, and they're going to be racing out towards some of the defaults here, notably in the bottom left are the right half pipes and RDH platform above cops 2 if necessary, which they both could be on the path boards.
Yeah, there's also Sewer Center Structure on the board. Nice, we have a Center Square Sewer Special back again with a vengeance.
Of course, didn't get marked in this game, so it gets recycled. That's not an actual mechanic, but, it always feels like it.
It wouldn't be bingo if we didn't have Sewer Special, especially in finals.
Alright. Headed up,
Looks like
Yomsa makes
is
the
actually
jump.
heading straight for that.
Yep,
Crabbi
going
makes
for
the
some
take.
structure.
It's clean.
Yep, Crabbi's going to go for the grind 10 follow-up, though. So there's not a quick play from Yomsa there, but she's going to dip into bottom point.
Crabbi.
And Crabbi will as well.
This is the jump. And yeah,
Oh, boy.
Okay. This could end up being a snipe fest. We said it wouldn't, but it could still happen.
Alright, so this is different, though. Crabbi's going for right half pipe after winding rails first. In the bottom left corner, Yomsa will be able to go for... didn't actually get special there. Wonder if that was intended. That was... maybe this is still the optimal unlock, but she's going to go ahead and mark out that top left square. And then work towards whatever else she wants in bottom point, whether it's tricks or get the hell out.
Yeah, so this is relatively advantageous for Crabbi, it feels, in that they didn't go for the same square, so he doesn't get sniped after following Yomsa into bottom point, which means he does still have some form of control and some agency. Getting sniped there would have definitely sucked, because you're kind of playing with no information at that very early stage of the game when Yomsa marks center structure, and there's still, there's, I think you said the grind, Sue's grind, yeah, grind 10 on the board. Still plenty of other options. You don't necessarily know that she's going straight into bottom point. You have to make that call kind of blind.
Oh, no.
Oh, Crabbi.
Oh, God. God, that jump without a boost is so spooky at times, and now Yomsa's going to clean up the RDH default. And Yomsa's just making the right decisions in the early game every time so far, and Crabbi's going head-to-head has just not worked out for him, which it hasn't for anybody playing Yomsa all season. Practice and
that's the
in-game.
situation that I think Yomsa puts every opponent into, is she forces you to have to go head-to-head with her. And then you're going head-to-head with the multiple world record holder who has proved time and time again that her movement is just next level. It's a really difficult situation to be in, but you don't want to have to play defensively and give her what she wants and then try and find another way, play a suboptimal strategic game, which leaves you then with the option of trying to take that next step strategically and outguess her, out-strategize her, which in itself is also very difficult.
Now look, Yomsa should be headed off to Highway 0. A pair of defaults there will shut down the Crabbi threat, along with pick up 3 points relatively quickly. So that's a really easy pickup for her. And is going to put Crabbi in another terrible spot, because the top left, bottom right diagonal will now just be 3 Kogane squares, and the column 5 will be everything that's outside of Kogane. So what do you do in Crabbi's situation? His squares are completely useless at this point. They make no bingos.
Highway 0 shuts them down completely. It shuts out the row 5 and a potential column 4, as long a shot as that may be. With the diagonal already denied by RDH, and then the column 1 already denied by bottom point. It just feels like Yomsa has picked every single square correct so far this game.
Like, if you could handpick squares, I don't think you could do a whole lot more than what's happening right now. Just, place them wherever your heart desires. So this is just such a strong spot, again, with board control and up by 3 points. It's exactly where you want to be in every game, where you're feeling confident, ready to just, force your opponent everywhere they don't want to be, and then, play from there. It's looking fantastic for Yomsa. She's going to go ahead and mark Highway 0 points as well, just for that extra score factor.
So Crabbi is denying the column 5 with 99th special here. There is also tricks on the board, and I imagine he could unlock that in the process. You might as well pick it up for points, but strategically it's not getting you very far. It's just a column 3 bingo threat, and that's all. But he does at least put out one of the many fires that are emerging across the board right now, with that column 5 denied.
Yeah, also going to scorn Crabbi heavily for not keeping up to meta with the 99th special unlocks. Come on, Crabbi. Whoa! That was so sweet. That was really cool pickup from Crabbi there on that special. I did not know you could do that. That is super cool. I don't even think it's optimal, but it's cool.
Hey, cool is what we're here for.
That is true. Now they're going to fight, though. They're both leaving 99th at roughly the same time. But once again, it's if I already feel like I'm oversaying it, Yomsa with a couple second lead out of 99th. So she'll have advantage, and it's so uncommon for her to make a mistake that she just doesn't lose squares ever.
Yeah, and it's interesting here. Now with that column 5 denied, the priority, I think, on Shibuya-cho goes down. Crabbi should be able to identify that, and he is willing to go back into Kogane to go head-to-head with Yomsa here, rather than, dipping into Shibuya and picking up safe points. There just simply aren't enough there unless you want to commit to double defeat.
Might be what's necessary at some point. We're going to see Crabbi go in and commit deeper into Kogane, whereas, let's see, Rith from Yomsa. I wonder if she's going to commit to that or just pick it up and move it along, kind of like a partial.
No, looks like she might be heading straight for it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she definitely has the advantage right now in terms of board control, and has some time to just pick up luxury points, it feels. Crabbi is back into sewers for another attempt at this climb that's been really unkind so far. Doing that without a boost is so damn hard.
It's just, this is one of the things that I, out of all of the movement tech that I like in this game and doing that without a boost feels like one of the most inconsistent things that exists. And I very much don't like doing it pretty much ever because it's just such a pain. And now, with seeing that, seeing the Rith unlock, Crabbi is going to go ahead and block out that bingo. But Yomsa will be threatening again along row 4 here in a matter of a minute.
Yeah, and then there's the Hikage Graffiti Dogen tricks on that row 4. It feels like Crabbi just has to constantly respond and out all these fires by denying this diagonal with bottom point. He now immediately needs to dip and deny a potential row 4. Then there's still technically a row 1 available for Yomsa. That's a much longer gambit, it does feel. Crabbi is keeping himself in this game, but it is very reactive, it's very responsive. He's gonna have to pull something special out, it feels, to take the advantage in this game.
All right. Well, we do see that Dogen actually cleans up both of those issues. So that might be where Crabbi wants to go. Dogen Tricks 20 and Dogen Special both, block both bingos off and then leaves him in a spot where he can play the game. But Crabbi only has one bingo remaining on this board along row 3, and that is underdeveloped as all can be.
Yeah, it's not kind either with Sua's Special, Kage points, and Dogen Graffiti. That's a massive commitment of time. It does feel we may get to a position where there are no bingos on this board, and it may just come down to graffiti, which I think is Crabby's way back into the game.
Yeah, he's
going to be. He's going to have to pick the right squares at the right times, because it's a matter of using your time as effectively as possible in order to get yourself back into this game for Crabby. Which, to be fair, to his credit, he has been very, very good at using his time so far in Season 4. It feels like he has a very good assessment of how much time everything takes and how much time navigating across the map takes. And that's one of the ways that he just kind of masses points ahead of a lot of his opponents, is just having that really clear perspective on that. So it's now into Dogen, going backwards here. Got to take tricks to deny that row 4.
Yep, and the row 1 with the Dogen special, but it's a question of how much is he going to commit. Is Crabby going to end up having to... is he going to try and commit to Dogen Graffiti again, or is he just going to get his souls and bail? I think
this is just tricks.
I would... Yeah, Dogen Special still a little spooky. We'll have to see. Meanwhile, Yomsa, doing great with her time, is going to pick up a trio of points here for her efforts in Dogen Graffiti. And then, if Crabby hasn't done anything, she can just go ahead, grab the tape, and score more points. So again, another correct play from Yomsa. I feel like I cannot point to a single mistake that has been made by Yomsa in this set so far.
Yeah, that's right. Kind of looking at Crabby's way back into this game. Dogen Tricks does deny the bingo, and he can get out relatively quickly. Special means he's committing to another lap. How important is it for him to get out of Dogen and get elsewhere on the map, is the question.
Of course, it's the utmost priority, and I'm very curious to see, as soon as the stream catches up, if Crabby commits to special, which I believe he will. Yep, there we go. Yep. So he will be out, I'm going to say just slightly behind Yomsa again, because what a shocker. Yomsa's going to have another, 10 to 20 second lead leaving Dogen. Because of course she does.
Yeah, but it does look like Crabby has assessed this correctly and knows that graffiti is of minimal priority. Even if Yomsa was doing something else, Crabby has very much realized that there is no value in him committing this time to Dogen Graffiti.
Now, there's something interesting. That's the first mistake, I would say, that Yomsa's made, and it's a very, very minor one, but now she is not ahead out of Dogen. Note that Crabby does have 2 seconds long of stream delay. So they are neck and neck, with Crabby just barely ahead into any future areas. So, first time that Crabby's really had a chance at setting the pace along this game 2 here. And they seem to be going into the same area. So this is going to
get
be
a Hikage race?
very cool. Oh, I'd love it.
Points to graffiti on the board. It's the only all that's left here, other than Chuo points.
Mm-hmm. They're both headed that way.
Yeah, Chuo points is of very minimal value here. It's gonna be Hikage. Crabby can get right back into the game here with a Hikage graffiti win.
Yep. Now this requires Yomsa to fully commit. She's very known for doing partial sprays. Ooh, Crabby going left first, so it looks like he wants partial plus points. A pure graffiti route will be faster. So we're gonna have to see if Crabby can somehow weave these two together, but oh boy. It's gonna be a Herculean task to do both of these at the same time and beat Yomsa to it.
Yeah, and we can maybe Crabby can hope that either Yomsa's not here, or that Yomsa overthinks this and dips out of Hikage, knowing that Crabby will not reveal for some time, at least. And maybe Crabby can withhold points, just so he doesn't reveal, so he can progress on the graffiti route. Maybe withhold that information and fake Yomsa out. It's a gamble, but that might be what you need to get back in this game.
Yeah, you have to gamble to come back in these kind of scenarios, but we do know that, again, as mentioned, Yomsa does do a lot of partialing, so we can't guarantee that she's going to commit to everything here. So, interesting situation that is developing here with both of them in Hikage. Crabbi does a relatively clean left side here. Does have a lot of cans available to, start working on the rest of the level. Meanwhile, Yomsa, I believe, takes a bit of a tumble. I think she had one more spray to go, but I'm not certain. Yeah, looks like she does.
Right then, a couple mistakes sneaking in for Yomsa now, but this is Crabbi dipping on Hikage. Just his partial spray doesn't even go to unlock points. What's the play here for Crabbi?
A risky maneuver, nonetheless, works out. We'll have to see, if both our players opt partial. This could work in their favor, in Crabbi's favor, but we'll have to see. Yomsa is done with the right side now, the most can-intensive and probably time-intensive section, so we'll have to see where she goes next.
Yeah, we're in that situation now. Yep.
No.
Yeah, we're in that situation now where it's been a little while since either of them marked anything. Neither of them have marked anything since Dogen.
Okay, so that boost tells me that Yomsa's not looking for any kind of sprays because you cannot boost in Hikage, period. But this is a large commitment for Hikage points. So let's see. This is starting to get a little interesting, I think. Obviously, Yomsa is still heavily favored. But, there is a route to victory for Crabbi.
Yeah, this is fascinating. I'm really curious to see what Yomsa does after picking up Hikage points.
Mm-hmm.
Because Crabbi surely knows, with that amount of time between squares for Yomsa, that she has marked, or at least partial sprayed, in Hikage. So when it comes back to it, and maybe we get the two players returning to Hikage, they'll both have similar amounts of progress on the route. But it is now Crabbi uncontested in FRZ. This is...
I just have to point out Crabbi's FRZ spraying movement is just beautiful. There hasn't been hardly a delay. All the quick turns are properly jumped. There are no slowdowns after each tag that any lesser of a player would do. Even I'm pretty bad about just slowing down after some sprays, and it cost me little tiny bits of time, but Crabbi, keeping the momentum incredibly well throughout this area, is doing a fantastic job blasting through this route, and it's really cool to see.
Yeah, FRZ done fast is just beautiful to behold.
The previous generation of Jet Graffiti Lord of the community, when Crabbi held all 13 Jet Graffiti world records, is really something to behold, and it's, a testament to why he's so good at any part of this game. And now Yomsa has bailed out, gone to Chuo, though, rather than playing into any kind of Kogane game.
This is the most Season 4 kind of game that we could have had, with both of them partialing Hikage and then leaving. No one ever commits to a graffiti route in Season 4. It just doesn't happen.
It really doesn't. I feel like I'm the only player that commits to a graffiti route now, and I always feel like, oh shoot, am I doing this wrong? Am I supposed to be partialing? Am I supposed to be stalling out a route or something? It's, sometimes it's just a lot.
Yeah, I mean, the information game is so important now. With Crabbi coming towards the end of this FRZ graffiti route, it has been a while since he marked anything, around 6 minutes. So there is the possibility that Yomsa believes that Crabbi was just in FRZ this whole time and hasn't had any progress on Hikage. Maybe that lowers her priorities in terms of finishing off Hikage. Like, there are many mind games that can be played with the information that both players have at the moment. Crabbi picking up these points is huge for him to stay in the game.
Yeah, but unfortunately now Yomsa locks in Chuo points, and now she can just go back to Hikage and win the game because it is a 16 to win board off 3 graffitis.
Yeah, no possible bingos.
Unless she goes away. Crabby's gonna go ahead. Turn, Crabby, turn!
No, that's rough.
Actually, kind of a bait. Kind of a bait. Yomsa's committing somewhere else.
And this is something we've seen, I think, from both of these players as well, is... I'm confident that both of them know their win conditions, but it's not that simple anymore. It's not a matter of knowing what you need to do to win the game. It is a matter of Crabby hasn't marked a square in 7 minutes.
Yep, 742 and climbing. Yomsa knows there's probably double partials coming out, and it's just almost a mind game of who goes where and does what. Crabby debating whether he should even pick up the tape. He does not. Points 50k would be right there to unlock, but he doesn't want to spend the time. Oh, he does want to spend the time. Yomsa is heading into FRZ.
This is huge because if Yomsa ends up committing to FRZ, Crabby finishes off the route, he is significantly ahead. This bait might just get him out ahead back into Hikage.
That would be big. Crabby's setting up the jump.
Here it is. Season 4
Let's
tech.
go.
It's so good.
It's the trick of Season 4. We've had a trick for every season, and now I think that, or the stall, is Season 4's trick.
Yeah, Season 4 has had a few cool pieces of movement that have come along, and the evolution of the stall launch has been fantastic. Because we've had, Season 3 was, we have a stall launch, and Season 4 was, we have like 3 or 4 different stall launches now to get to different parts of keyword. But then, there's also the stalling technique that is kind of more of a strategic strategy compared to this new FRZ graffiti route, which is more of a mechanical thing. And it's fantastic that this game just continues to evolve.
Yeah. Speaking of evolving, we do have Yomsa just going ahead and stealing off the FRZ points, which is a very smart play from her. She does know that she can win with just 2 more graffiti souls in general. So she could leave Crabby to his own devices and, pick up the pair in Kogane or work from there. This is getting closer. Crabby marks FRZ.
Yep, not too terribly far behind.
Yeah. Oh, boy. Oh, buddy. Where are we going? Where are the players going? That's really the important part here. Do they go to the same areas? Do they go elsewhere?
No one going for that sewer special. Sad.
Oh, so hold on. Crabby going for Kibo. All right, Crabby. We must see the Uber launch. The best form of bingo stall launch. Do it. Now, of course, this might not be correct because Yomsa's just running over to Hikage and she can win the game, but
Hikage wins the game, Benson also wins the game.
Come on. Oh, failed stall launch start because, of course, the trick is the most finicky. Oh,
yeah, this is a rough situation for Crabby to be in. He's come so close in this game. But just, again, the sheer amount of points that Yomsa can amass in the first 5 minutes of the game is going to make the difference. There was some really interesting strategy.
Crabby never lucky.
Kage graffiti route and moving on into the late stages of the game. He has some really good ways of getting back into this game, but the point deficit is just too much to make up. Yep.
It is hard to tell, but Crabby did play this late game quite well. Do it, Crabby. Oh my goodness! He's insane! He's insane! He goes right under. Get him! Get him, Crabby. Way to go. Amazing. Can we give him bonus points for this? Hold on. Get this man some bonus points. Get this game extended.
Oh, yes. I love it.
He marks Kivo under wires, revealing to Yomsa that she has won the game. As
style points to Crabby.
Style points definitively in favor of Crabby. There is Sky Dino Brontosaurus, and with 3 squares left, one of them being much faster for For Yomsa, Crabbi has GG'd, and Yomsa takes a 2-0 match lead.
Oof. That one was a lot closer, and yeah, 14 minutes longer as well, as expected from the board, but good late game strategy from Crabbi. If the early game just goes slightly more in his favor, he takes this one. Match point, championship point for Yomsa, looking to do what no player has done before, win back-to-back seasons of Bingo.
Win 2 seasons of Bingo. Nobody's won 2 seasons.
Yeah, that's right.
So
We didn't even really touch on the fact that since semifinals, it has been the battle of the champions, you know? Everyone has won between the top 4 players. One of them is going to bring home the first ever win, or 2-time win.
yeah.
As close as she could get.
Yeah, that is very true. All right, we're going to kick it off to just a couple-minute break, let our players catch their breath in between games. This could be a long set, so we want to make sure everybody's paced out well. We'll be back in about 2 minutes. Stick with us for game number 3.
Make sure you keep hydrated, guys. Get up, do some stretching, take care of yourselves, just like our players. Ooh, what a game so far.
Good one.
And a good time to remind everyone that if you want to watch VODs of Jet Set Radio Future Bingo, we do have a YouTube channel.
That's right, yeah. Everything should be linked below the stream if you want to pick up VODs.
Including the Discord server if you want to play for yourself, or keep up to date with all the Jet Set Radio Future Bingo news.
Yeah, and of course, we are still very, very excited for future developments in Bingo. You know, we can't confirm anything at this point, but we would love to do another
anything,
season.
But because cool stuff is happening behind the scenes.
Yeah, and
So a
new players are always
hypothetical
welcome.
season 5 would be very cool and a great time for people to jump in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hypothetically.
Yeah, of course, if we get enough new players, a critical mass of new players, we can do more new player-specific things. We see already some interest from some of the players that have been visiting throughout the season, and, you know, the more people that sign up, the more opportunities we have to make even games and different brackets and all sorts of fun experiences for everybody. And, you know, it's probably a return to 2v2, so it could be a great time for, you know, getting a coach and going for it.
Yeah, and we do have Crabbi in particular is really enthusiastic about coaching new players. He put a lot of time into working with Kev and Saldi, I believe, at the start of this season. I mean, Crabbi is he's always on that grind. So kind of goes both ways, you know, helping to coach new players, but also just getting that game time in himself so that he can keep in form.
In the immortal words of Uncle Sam, I want you to join Jet Set Radio Future Bingo. He actually said that.
That's very true. That historical fact, it was directly quoted from, or it's Uncle Sam, loosely based off Benjamin Franklin, of course, is exactly where the original quote came from.
Yeah, Benjamin Franklin, noted fan of Jet Set Radio Future.
Yeah.
He's a fan of anything
Benjamin
wild and out there.
Franklin, like in the middle of all his parties, was like, you know what would make a really good game? Jet Set Radio Future Bingo.
Thanks, Ben. You were the coolest founding father.
The
Also, I'm saying this with,
JSRF Bingo.
thank goodness that I'm saying this with a bunch of Brits in the commentary booth.
Yeah, haven't a clue who Benjamin Franklin is, really.
He's
Just
a
know the
guy
name.
that went partying during the critical moments of American history and is hailed as a hero. See, I lived in America for a few years, I know just enough.
I'm so sorry.
All right, let's see if our players are ready and all that good stuff. Of course, Crabbi and Yomsa chatting about the game as they always seem to do.
Oh, they both want
Joy.
to know what happened at every single minute of the game after the game has been played.
Oh, I know. That's why they love watching VOD. Oh, Jesus, that's a green board. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lordy.
Oh.
Let's take a look at game 3, and boy, is this a mess.
Wow. Well, we talked about kind of the tendencies of these players, and we said, okay, game 2, you know, not too many fast squares off the board, off the start of the board. Could be Crabbi favored. This one looking maybe a little bit Yomsa favored.
12 squares in Shibuya areas, including of all of the fast ones. Let me just point out Shibuya Grind 10, Shibuya Top of Bus, Hikage Cubby, Dogen Right of Street, Chuo Air 4, Hikage Air 4 are all extremely quick. That is, I believe, 6 or 7 that I have mentioned right there. Yomsa in the chat says, Twink, what the hell is this? So, yeah, this is a board that will end in 5 minutes. Unless
It certainly feels that way.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Oh, this is going to be such a bloodbath. But, you know, take it game 3. Or game 4, it might be that Crabbi just takes a couple of these.
Yeah, I mean, something I've really enjoyed about Crabbi's strategy so far this season has been his ability to kind of identify the highest priority squares on the board. And that's what Yomsa has been doing throughout this series, but Crabbi can do it too. And in terms of what they go for right off the bat here, could be huge in keeping him in the game.
Oh, that's interesting. So Yomsa clicked and then missed the thing. Crabbi then immediately does it, gets Shibuya Top of Bus, and all of a sudden, Crabbi takes first square in Shibuya, and they are both off. Crabbi heading off to Chuo, grab that Air 4 center square, of course. Yomsa out to Hikage for the slower Air 4, but does have the opportunity to pick up special along the way, and the Crabbi, or Cubby.
Wow, that's a really interesting start to the game. The fact that they both went for it as well. It's so rare that we actually see these players go head-to-head on squares like that. Usually one player will just say, I'm going to hand that over to the opponent, they have better loads, or something like that. But they actually both went head-to-head on that top of bus. And Crabbi taking it means it's a strong start to the game for him with the Air 4 immediate top left and bottom right diagonal. You can call it a threat. I mean, you've got Kage Special and Right of Street and Grind 10. It should be easy for Yomsa to deny that. She's in Shibuya tape now to do so. But it does demand her attention, because if she doesn't pay attention to it, it's very quickly becomes a problem in Crabbi's favor.
I want to take an eyes look over at the row 3, now with center square taken. Crabbi does have the opportunity to dip into Benton and at any point threaten row 3, because they're all Benton squares. 99th center of dark, in and out. Top of observatory, in and out. Grind 15, a little slower. And then Sky Dino Graffiti, not particularly slow. So Crabbi's going to go ahead, grab through. Oh, fight, fight, fight. Oh, he's going to get it. He's going to get it. Oh! Crabbi marks right of the street.
Intense. It goes to
Stream
Crabbi.
delay. It goes to Crabbi. Remember, Crabbi has 2 seconds more of stream delay. Yomsa now spending time on that. Does not get the square again. So all of a sudden, Crabbi square lead and even stay into where I assume they're going to go is into Benton or something. Yeah,
and even with this diagonal bingo denied, that's still a massive amount of board control for Crabbi.
Yep, diagonal squares being so good because they do capture different rows and columns. Crabbi has all sorts of things to be able to threaten through the next couple minutes of this game, so really good spot for Crabbi to be in, and he's got advantage out to center of dark. And Yomsa will probably be committed into it, so there's no quick recourse for it. Crabbi's going to go ahead, take it. Oh, she does see it in time, so Crabbi does mark it, and Yomsa does get to commit deeper to dark side. So now she does have map control, but a map advantage. Crabbi is just can go wherever he wants to.
It's so stacked, though. Yomsa going for possibly the slowest of the row 3 squares here with the Highway 0 grind.
Other than Graffiti, of course, but Looking good here.
Puts you somewhere you don't want to be, I feel. Highway Zero is not particularly strong on this board. Look at Skydive.
It is quite good, but don't forget that Highway Zero does block row 3 and column 2. It's important pickups, but not a high point value kind of moment here for Yomsa. More of a, the defensive kind of play that you have to make.
Yeah, it's Yomsa on the defensive for the first time, really, in this series. Crabbi taking the early advantage, running with this momentum into Sky Dino, where platform is picked up as a quick default. Grind is kind of slow, but it's there, and it is on that row 1 alongside the default. Tricks, again, kind of slow, but it's a point that you can freely take. And then there's also Graffiti, which I don't think Crabbi has been making too much progress on so far, just given the nature of Sky Dino.
Crabbi, I haven't taken my eyes off Crabbi's screen for the last, minute or so. Sorry to Yomsa, who I haven't watched a single thing of Crabbi with the out-of-bounds death work to get out of picking up the tape and then leaving. So he has a viable route to the remainder of Sky Dino. Just a great spot to be in. So looking good. Raise your crabs in chat if you want Crabbi to win, etc., etc.
I mean, I'm all for more games of this. This has been fantastic so far. And Crabbi picking up the tape, leaving Sky Dino means quickly come back and pick up everything that's left in there later in the game. But right now, it's about getting everything else on the board in terms of what is priority right now. And I feel like Yomsa should respect that as well. She shouldn't be believing that Crabbi is committing to Sky Dino at this point, given that there's still plenty of other stuff on the board.
Yeah, I think a detour into Chuo might actually be on the docket. There's 2 more squares and Graffiti there. That could convince Yomsa, should Crabbi pick up some souls early, to bail out and go somewhere else. If I were Crabbi, and I were the maddest of the laddest... Oh, there should be your Graffiti. That's right! Shibuya Graffiti's on this board. If I was the maddest of the laddest, I would have grabbed like 2 Chuo souls and then run off to Sky Dino again, grabbed both the souls there, and then sprayed Graffiti. Oh, fight!
Crabbi has a decent advantage here on a very quick route. Yeah, Yomsa's not even going to bother.
No. I don't know if Shibuya is the best play, but it is a good play. It's rare that Shibuya is not a very good play to go for.
Yeah, just for the amount of time that you're spending. It's 3 very quick points, and unlike other routes like Sky Dino or Highway Zero, for example, they don't put you so far out on the map when you're in Shibuya. You have quick access to everything else. You can get back to Garage very quickly, you can go into Chuo or Hikage where there are other things to pick up.
Yomsa doing the new and improved points or tricks unlock. We're going to see if that works out, because sometimes that can go a little crazy. Of course, she is far too skilled to make such mortal mistakes. So now Crabbi knows where Yomsa is, and there is a threat along column 5 for Yomsa that, going to Chuo does not really do. I would like to see Crabbi double down and commit to this route, because I'm almost certain that's where Yomsa is going to go next, is just start marking Shibuya. Or she's not. She's too good for us.
I mean, maybe she just goes straight for that column 5.
She could! Oh, that looks like a bailout from Crabbi. Maybe not. It's not. Okay. Well, I'm starting to get it. This is getting spicy in here. Crabbi's already about to conclude this route, though, and he will be able to respond in Kogane as necessary, but it is going to be a tight window.
Yep, it does have to be pretty expedient to get out to Kogane and deny one of those 2. Plus, has to kind of play the 50-50 guessing game. If Yomsa starts up bottom point and denies that information, then Crabbi does have to take a guess.
Yep, this is...
It's
gonna be tough!
You can't play the waiting game on this one to deny this bingo.
Nope, I think Yomsa's going to go for the kill, go FRZ into bottom point, and assume that she's ahead of Crabbi. It's going to be very, very close, though, throughout the whole thing. And, oh, buddy.
Oh, Bingo suddenly puts Yomsa right back in the game.
Oh, of course. Yep. Just too good. I think Crabbi going for Shibuya was a mistake, and they did need to go into Chuo. Bottom point now. The area of contention, both players going to have to get there with the quickness, but Yomsa going to be there just a hair sooner, and that might be all that she needs. Oh boy. Crabbi, don't think about it, but it's your tournament life on the line to go to bottom point right here and do a good route. Oh boy.
It is just head-to-head, the closest possible margin here. With stream delay considered, this is going to be very much down to execution.
Yep, one mistake could possibly do it, or rather, one more mistake than your opponent will keep you out of this square. Ooh, Yomsa marks the bottom point thing, so Crabbi knows exactly where Yomsa is, and now he does take a very minor lead in this route because of that. Oh, goodness. Oop, Crabbi's going to go ahead. Oh, they're dead even. Minus stream delay. Oh, Ekla, hold me. We need help.
We're having a medical emergency in the commentator's booth.
Let's go. Let's go.
Oh, I love Bingo.
Let's go. Watch them happen. Watch these games collide. Crabbi with what I would call a 3-second lead currently. Yomsa falls in the water. Crabbi with slightly more than a 3-second lead. He is, however, taking a little bit of extra time. Not much, though, on those medium sprays. That gives him a large advantage.
Yeah, it's taking Yomsa a little bit more time here. Just a little bit more caution here not to fall down. And to be fair, Crabbi did fall down. But it does leave Crabbi still in the lead ever so slightly.
Yep. Oh boy, this is just something. Both players making that jump successfully. Okay, looking at the split on this spray here, Yomsa's 11 seconds behind on this route. So Crabbi must make a mistake for her to have a chance. And Crabbi doesn't make mistakes in graffiti routes often, especially one that is relatively straightforward as bottom point. Let's go, Crabbi. I can be biased because it gives us more bingo. Come on.
Absolutely, yeah. I think everyone would be a little bit disappointed if this one was a 3-0. Give us more content. Come on. It's finals. We got to have 5 games. It's tradition.
It is tradition. We'll have to see. Crabbi now 6 sprays to go, and I don't think there's really anything Yomsa can do about it. This deficit is too much, and Crabbi's going to have advantage out of the area. Crabbi, with enough cans, marks off the spray. Obviously, stream delay. Might work on a delay feature eventually, but he marks it ahead of Yomsa, goes ahead, starts bailing out, and that is bingo for Yomsa.
Yeah, with that bingo denied, Crabbi with the points lead as well. And Yomsa, no more bingos left on the board other than a potential row 5 with Chuo, points and graffiti, Sua's air, RDH tricks. It's just so easy for Crabbi to deny that and then keep running with this lead and advantage. And yeah, he's just going to go straight for Sua's air, I think, and just take this one out of the running. And then remember the early game gambit from Crabbi of making sure he has an advantage in a later return to Sky Dino. All the chips in his favor right now.
Yeah, but if Yomsa goes to Sky Dino being the most point dense area on the map, it could be a possible route back into this. However, any marking of that will immediately indicate to Crabbi that he can clean up here in Yomsa has to go to this area, or else Crabbi can just win in Shibuya alone.
Yeah,
that's basically
Crabbi has been having some trouble with these sewers climbs, though. Today in general.
Not enough hands currently.
It's still worth going for until the end of time, pretty much. It's definitely faster than just doing the standard climb, but pretty can intensive.
He's getting late jumps. He's jumping about a frame late on all of these. And now he's going to be out of here. So now Yomsa going to start spraying up Chuo. How much will she do? Does she go for a partial on both of these? We will have to see because these are both very important. Crabbi, though, can pillage off with 17 to win. He can steal 1 in Shibuya and win in Sky Dino, or he can go direct to Sky Dino and then say, I win because you don't have enough options, and I can wait game.
Yeah,
So-
it does feel very Crabbi favored right now. That little bit of time wasted in sewers feels a little rough. Gives Yomsa a slight window perhaps to work with, but definitely still a very Crabbi favored game, except he's heading into Shibuya.
Ooh, it's Dogen though, so that's okay. Grind 10 is one of the fast Dogens. So there's notably, Crabbi can now see where Yomsa is, currently sitting in Chuo. Is she gonna bail? She do be bailing. So she's gonna mark and leave. Where does she go next? Sky Dino. The threat of graffiti and double squares still looms large over the remainder of squares on this board. We're not really sure when
Yeah,
the
it's worth
players are
noting.
committing to it.
Outside of a column 4, no real bingos viable for Crabbi either. I mean, he went for the sewers there, just could not find that for himself. It's an unlikely bingo, but it is still a bingo. But it might just come down to points. It might just come down to graffitis.
Okay, so Yomsa's looking row 5. I'm hoping that Crabbi can get the stall square. I was hoping he would use this Dogen as a stall square a little bit more, commit to it until Yomsa shows anything else. That's a lot to commit to. Once Yomsa does show, where is she going exactly? There's not an RDH square on this board that involves
There's
going this way.
tricks, but
You can unlock tricks at tricks.
yeah, I suppose it's just a matter of unlocking it and then
Bailing?
being in a position where you can bail if you need to.
Oh my goodness, these players are all just getting closer without revealing information. Of course, information game is large. Crabbi, 420 cents marking a square. So we're gonna have to see. Crabbi, hey, Crabbi going Chuo, is it bold? It may be, but you know what? I tested Crabbi on being bold in our match. Crabbi is bold.
Yeah, and coming back to that match in particular, you said at the end of it, you had to play a game that would beat Yomsa, and the both of you did that. And it is, you have to be bold, you have to be aggressive, you have to be at the top of your game, and you have to go for plays that could backfire, you know? You have to take those risks. You can't play safe.
Oh, Crabbi! Oh, everybody's being so non-committal. Everybody's
Season
playing
4.
chicken.
Season
Oh,
4.
Oh, everybody's playing bingo chicken. Combined time, almost 9 combined minutes for square marking. Where is anybody going? Crabbi now bailing out. Yomsa fails the jump up to the
Ooh.
top. So that's going to cost her more time. A little bit of missed execution, plus no marking has really got these players freaking the hell out right now.
Yeah, sometimes we just get to that state of the game where neither player wants to reveal information and then is also responding to the fact that they don't have any information, and it just turns into complete chaos.
Oh, man, I really want Crabbi to do, like, column 4. No, RDH Tricks was unlocked but never picked.
Yeah,
So-
Yomsa unlocked that low down in the levels so that she could bail if she needed to, and chose to go for Sua's Air instead.
Yep. Now she might try and return and pick up tricks on the way out, but Crabbi has the read ahead of that. So
Yeah, and as you said, you can unlock the soul
Mhm.
at the top of the level where you can pick it up, so no time lost here by Crabbi just by rushing straight to the top. Yomsa just has to get to the top and pick it up,
Oh,
but
she doesn't know the jump.
Crabbi's way ahead.
I thought Yomsa was bailing for a second, but she just doesn't know the fastest jump from the half pipe up, and that's understandable. There are only about 3 million different movement techs that can be done in this game. Crabbi now
Yeah.
working on the tricks unlock to try and block out this row in the last bingo that Yomsa could score in this game.
Should be able to do it. Yomsa too far behind to catch up on this one.
Yep, but she committed pretty hard into RDH. We're going to see exactly when she notices right there, according to our stream delay. GG has been called.
Yomsa calls GG in game 3. Crabbi took the early lead, and mountains of mind games. Nice out of bounds death warp there to get back to the start of the level.
Wait,
Swag points.
I did not see that. That's wild.
That's so cool.
What? I haven't even seen that. That's so cool. That's so cool.
Yeah, I love watching Bingo because I learn something new about this game every day.
Every time, Ekla. Oh, that's
Game
the one that gets
4.
that's the one that gets the adrenaline going. Oh man, that was a good
Any
one.
reverse sweep fans in chat?
Oh, I am. Let me tell you.
Well, how poetic
that's a-
would it be for Crabbi to take the win in a reverse sweep?
Oh, after being reverse swept in Season 1, bring it back. Players are almost ready? Oh, Crabby's probably on stream delay.
Yep, both players ready. Jumping
all
straight
right.
into game 4.
Balanced board here, but let's take a look at the speedy ones. Shibuya Platform, Shibuya Cubby, Shibuya Graffiti, Chuo Cubby, or rather, Hikage Cubby. Chuo Grind and Tricks, all very quick. Shibuya is a fast area, but not to be outdone. There are some pretty speedy Benton squares as well. 99.
Column 4 looks insane.
I agree with you. Oh, that looks juicy. But how the hell are you going to get Shibuya Cubby and Shibuya Platform?
And that's the thing, is like these mind games that we see in Shibuya at the start of the game so frequently can so often determine these kinds of outcomes, but there's a realistic scenario where you fake out your opponent and manage to get both.
There is.
I don't think you can rely on it, but it could happen.
Yeah, I mean, you could theoretically wait strat Shibuya for about 1 second, like maybe 5 seconds, wait on the platform, the bus platform next to the platform unlock, and see if they, just pick the one that they don't go to, because you can fast speed to, Shibuya Cubby while the unlock animation is going, or the pickup animation is going. So we'll have to see how these players, I mean, there's no way they're not going to Shibuya off the break, right?
Yeah, absolutely. With those two Shibuya defaults. Got Chuo looking pretty good as well with Cubby and Tricks. Pretty quick return on investment for them. But I wouldn't be surprised to see both players head into Shibuya, pick up what they can, and then immediately bail.
All right, Yomsa redeems herself, grabs a Cubby soul. Crabbi is appearing to go for the same at the same time, so this could be actually a full sweep. Crabbi bails very quickly and heads off to Hikage as a backup. But Yomsa's going to get platformed, so,
I told you it could happen.
it could happen. It could, and it did. Hikage Cubby is picked up. But now I think Yomsa has huge advantage to the column 4, and they have to go to Ben 10 now, both of them, or else this game is going to get out of hand very quickly.
Yep, that's it. Crabbi picks up his 1 soul and is right the way out to 99th Street. Center of Arc and points. You should imagine that the players will split this and that there won't be a Yomsa column 4 bingo here, but anything could still happen.
I want Crabbi to commit to Center of Dark because it's a little better of a square for him, albeit not by much. It does threaten the row 4, which is an all Benton one. Additionally, it's easier to screen for.
But with Yomsa out ahead, if she goes to Center of Dark and then commits to 99th 4 points, and yeah, I mean, if Crabbi goes for Center of Dark and gets sniped, he just kind of loses.
Okay, so that's fine. So Yomsa picks that square up. Crabbi should have enough time to get to center and mark 99th points before Yomsa can get back to center. Crabbi does have the drop in. He does have the stream delay advantage, and he knows the fast unlock, or the fast pickup.
Yeah, interesting to see. So Yomsa respecting this perhaps and now leaving?
Yeah, possibly. It might already be marked. God, Crabbi, you're so good. What a beautiful unlock there.
I love that.
Optimal unlock. Now Crabbi going to bail the hell out of 99th Street. And
Okay, so with that bingo off the board, where do our players go next? It looks like both of them are leaving 99. Yomsa into Kogane. Again, kind of out ahead. Shades of games 1 and 2 here, where Yomsa just has that ever so slight advantage into the next area, which has been very decisive.
I think Shibuya might be the better play. I want to see Crabbi turn right and go Shibuya. It is not. The reason I say that is because of the row 2 that exists. Tricks and Chuo grind can cause a lot of problems for your opponent very quickly. And it continues your column 2 development, where you have bottom point, to develop along with Shibuya Graffiti. So Yomsa's going in to bottom point with about a 15-20 second lead or so. And she'll be able to mark at least grind 10 almost immediately, unless she plays it slow, which could be a risk.
Bottom point very strong here with the grind and points on column 2, points and tricks on row 3. Potentially, you know, we could see players split this, but Crabbi's not going.
Ooh, Yomsa's getting away with this for goofing up bottom point grind. That's going to get marked. Crabbi going up. What? We have tricks and points, both requiring climbs all the way to the top. I think this is a mistake from Crabbi, but I will have to see this develop a little bit. It does threaten the diagonal extremely well, but it's a hefty commitment, and Crabbi has to hit this jump.
Yeah, this is the time now for all of Crabbi's sewers issues to disappear. They do.
There he goes. Jumps on up. He can get the tricks and the points unlocked now very quickly, and now threatens this bingo in a major way. Oh boy. Oh boy. Did he boom somewhere along the way? There's tricks. Crabbi better unlock the points though at some point, which he can do.
Yep,
oh, that's
pretty easy.
Nice jump.
Yomsa now cleaning up bottom point. Just that points to pick up. It looks like actually she's not going to be picking up points. It is a big commitment. Right? She does need to get out elsewhere on the board right now.
Yeah, very quickly. Alright, so Crabbi is going to force Yomsa to skyscraper tricks soon. That's his plan. So what's his plan to take advantage of this? Does he go somewhere like, you could run in, steal the 2 Sky Dino squares, so that way Yomsa can't score much out in Benten, and then push Shibuya? That could be a play, or you could just play Shibuya direct. One of those probably is the play, though. Unless Crabbi also wants to go and grab this default.
This...
Judgment call, but I'll give it a pass.
This feels a little greedy.
Yeah. Yeah, JT with a good call.
The opportunity to get out into Shibuya, which, as you identified, that row 2 is very powerful for Crabbi, and he would have had a much better chance of setting that up if he hadn't gone for this default, but it does at least set him up for the column 1. But, I don't know, doesn't feel as strong.
Yep. We'll have to see, though. It is a, it's a not an aggressive play. It is a more defensive play while ahead to stay ahead. I am worried about Yomsa being able to score up this dark side, though, before Crabbi can do a whole lot. Because she knows that he's been chilling out here in bottom point, she does have the capability of going to Sky Dino and doing things, but she doesn't want to get surprise beat to this, so she is just going to do the fast tricks unlock.
Yeah, at some point you just have to play the game and take the bait from what your opponent is setting up. It's just not worth the risk. So, Crabbi is now leaving Kogane. Row 2 is kind of the big elephant in the room right now, I would say. But he is heading straight over to Shibuya Cho. Technically, I suppose, heading straight to Chuo and cleaning up Chuo does give you that threat on column 1 as well as row 2. But as JP identified, it's very easy for you to pick up crash pits into column 1. So it's actually Crabbi now heading into Benten.
Do it. I think this is a really solid play to prevent Yomsa from running up score in Benten. One of the big things you can do against strong opponents is limit the damage they can do in any one area and make them travel a lot more. So if Crabbi can take the trip out to Sky Dino, see if he commits or if he turns around, it may be a good way to steal points from Yomsa, who thinks that she may have some free points in the area.
I've learned so much about bingo strategy over the course of the last season.
I know.
Just plays that I would have said would be greedy or aggressive, or, you know, on the opposite side, too defensive, seem way more strategically viable at this level of play. Kind of as you identified, taking your advantage and using that advantage to respect your opponent and prevent them from coming back in the game, as opposed to growing your lead bigger and bigger and bigger and getting kind of tunnel visioned on winning the game. We're seeing that between both of these players.
Right, you have the capability of blocking any threats your opponent can make, so that way you can more easily, unfettered even, just go ahead and score points around the board. But looking at the board state now, Crabbi delaying into a couple extra points here, but Yomsa is able to score very well in Benton because of Crabbi bailing out. He's going to go for Shibuya Graffiti. Again, a very quick route. But yeah, do not forget though, in the chat, we do have the ability to see all, and there is a world where if Yomsa marks some Sky Dino defaults first, Crabbi can take that from right out under him. The only thing that I think that I would like to see is maybe some aggressive play into Sky Dino, but it might not be worth it. I also do make some very reasonable mistakes.
Yeah, this is really respectful, I think, from Crabbi in not going straight into Shibuya after leaving Kogane. And I think what I like about this is that he's using his advantage to, kind of as I said previously, like deny his opponents from coming back into the game, and it kind of plays on his ability to assess the timing and value of each individual square. Because even though it looks like Yomsa's ahead on points right now, Crabbi has priority to what remains on the board. He's using that to lock in the Shibuya Graffiti.
I'm very curious to see what Yomsa does here. Does she start this route? It does look like she is, starting with boostless bus jump. Bails out to Chuo, though. This is the correct play from Yomsa, and I think Crabbi started to play himself just a little bit. With all of these plays, he hasn't really marked any... he hasn't marked anything in almost 5 minutes, and we're 10 minutes into the game, which means that Crabbi has scored very little recently, and now Yomsa is going to grab 2 more squares in Chuo, and that's a lot of points and a lot of map control. Crabbi's bingo opportunities are practically nil at this point, and he's not going to be ahead on points after this, so
it does feel like committing to this Shibuya route was maybe a mistake again. I mean, it was almost his undoing previously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, he does it so well. It's such a pretty route, and I want to re-practice that even more, but Yomsa grabs Tricks 30, and now Crabbi marks the graffiti. So a 1-point lead for Yomsa as soon as she picks up Chuo Grind, as soon as she does that, which I think would be a wise decision. Crabbi, where are you going? Crabbi, where are you going, Crabbi?
He's trying to trade, I imagine.
There we go.
But
Don't forget we have a month of stream delay.
That's true, yeah. It does feel to me like this play from Crabbi, the Shibuya Graffiti, doesn't feel bad if you don't go for the bottom point default. I feel like that was an unnecessary commitment of time. Like, either you cut out the move to Benton, or you cut out the bottom point soul, and suddenly that Shibuya Graffiti is way more viable, and you can actually trade in Chuo, and you probably have the advantage at the stage. Now we're into Hikage Street again.
I'm feeling really bad for Crabbi right now. I don't like the position he's in one bit. I think he's really far behind now, unfortunately, because I saw him, I think because he went to Benton, I think he needed to commit to Sky Dino and just grab those 2 points off the board. It just went too long of running around and not doing a whole lot. So
Yeah, there was just a little bit of hesitation from Crabbi in the mid game here, which may have been his undoing.
see where he opts to go next. There are no more bingos available on this board for Crabbi, and only
Yes,
a column.
Yomsa! Yes!
Oh, there we go. Out of bounds clip. So speedy. Crabbi,
Double frame
boost.
boost from Crabbi in Garage. Our players are gaming.
We are gaming here. Just looking at the last 7 minutes, though, on the logs. 5 points for Yomsa across 5 squares. 3 points for 1 square for Crabbi. And now Crabbi headed back out to Benton. Oh, what can... You know, he can go grab some of the points there. But what does it do?
Yeah. Hikage Graffiti is 3 points for Yomsa. Uncontested, it would feel. Crabbi moved into Hikage, sprayed one thing, and then immediately left. Probably cans were an issue to a degree, but also kind of, again, indicative of a little bit of hesitation, a little bit of indecisiveness from Crabbi in this game 4.
Yep.
Yomsa very, very well set up to win this game if she can lock in the graffiti route here.
Let me do a little bit of point out, though. With the graffiti route, she goes up to 13. This is a long graffiti route, takes about 5.5 minutes. In that time, Crabbi can start nailing down some of these defaults on the map. We've got the Sky Dino default here. We've got the starting spiral, and we've got grind. Not a default, but still relatively quick from this tape position.
So 2 more points in Sky Dino plus STPP grind.
Yeah.
He needs to be able to deny like
2
6
squares.
of these
So
squares.
if she marks the graffiti route at any point, she needs 2 squares to win. But she needs to be very careful because there are not 2 squares in the Shibuya areas. She will have to make a long detour to either Benton or Kogane. And that may be where Crabbi can take advantage. If he can, grab enough things around the map and do enough while she's marking it, this may be, completely viable.
Yeah,
But
order of operations, I feel, is really important for Crabbi here. Like, it's not just get everything, it's get everything in the right order based on where Yomsa is on the map.
Yep. I think she's going to partial and leave here because she knows she needs to grab some squares. So I think she's going to partial bail out to Kogane. She is not. Darn it.
No?
But making bold assumptions as a commentator is what makes it fun.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, we have lots of information on the state of the game. We are also not currently playing the game in this incredibly high-stakes, high-tension scenario. Players are just doing their best with what they have available to them. And honestly, I would have made the same call as you. Given what we've seen so frequently in this season of Bingo, I would have expected this to be a partial Hikage, dip out to another area, pick up 1 soul, and then back into Dogen and Shibuya-cho to close out the game. I think that's... I would say that that's the meta of this season. That would be the meta play. But it is Yomsa doing something a little different, diverging from the meta in this game 4 of finals.
Well, diverging from the meta may be what you need to do. I want to also point out that I don't think Crabbi should get... Yeah, taping out is fine. Basically, Crabbi needs to make sure he cannot lose in one area. That's the goal. Hikage, he is conceding. That's fine. So, Yomsa will need 2 squares to win. From there, as mentioned, Dogen special, slow. Skyscraper grind, not fast, long way out. So now Crabbi is limiting the number of spaces that Yomsa has to go, such that when he, in the time it takes for Yomsa to finish this, he should have 2 squares. He will only need 2 more to win, and Yomsa will need 2 to win. Oh, it's gonna be so close, Ekla.
I love it when it comes down to a single square.
Ooh, or not. Crabbi is heading out to Dogen. Is this just a tape pickup? Is he just playing DJ% in Bingo and then going to Kogane?
Yeah, Crabbi is
Crabbi.
trying to use the time that he has while Yomsa is locked into Hikage Street to just confirm that he can win to any individual square.
Oh my god. Crabby's brain grows larger with every play, assuming this is what's gonna happen. Let's see. Oh, I'm getting excited.
Like, what if he just takes the tapes, waits for Yomsa to clean out Hikage, and then plays the waiting game, you know? Just waits in garage and he wins to anything.
I don't think he can wait that long, though.
What can he work towards while he's waiting? RDH special doesn't suck. Yeah, looking at what's left, I mean, it's a pretty decent time commitment to any of these things that are left on the board.
Yeah. Alright. Plans in action.
This is
Crabbi.
what Crabby's been setting up for the last few minutes.
Yep, hasn't marked a square in 3 minutes. He's going to make sure to only unlock special. What else is going to happen here? Oh boy, I feel like this is Yomsa favored, but Crabbi can outplay.
I'm really curious. Okay, so Crabby's
That's
unlocking
unlocking
special. He's leaving. Does Yomsa now commit to Dogen special as kind of being the fastest option that she has left?
Oh, we'll have to see. Well, we don't know where she's going to go because she has to go to garage for anything. She is going to Crabbi across. Yomsa going to pick up Skyscraper. Okay.
This is a really, really long soul.
Yep. Crabbi has RDH special here. No tape currently, so he's going to grab that and then work towards bottom point. It's just a matter of a game of denial for Crabbi. Can he pick up / snipe Yomsa to everything? I love the play. Great unlock from Crabbi. I don't even know that one. God, this guy's so good.
It's just such a great showcase of all of the tiny little bits of movement in this game that never had a home before Bingo, and now they do.
Crabbi is infinitely confident in his movement, and I love it, indeed. But the decision-making is still, you have to feel a little concerned at this point, just because of the point scenario that he's in. With this, Yomsa closes in to 1 square to victory, and there's not a clean way for her to, or for Crabbi to block everything. Man,
I mean, maybe he just frame boosts everywhere, and that's how he wins.
Yeah, can you frame boost up sewers and FRZ at the same time? Oh boy.
Crabbi could find a way.
12 points for Crabbi now. 14 points for Yomsa. We are on literal match point. How will this
slightly
game end?
Crabbi favored moving into the last 3 squares, though.
I don't think Crabbi has to win everything. Is Crabbi favored? Crabbi, where shall you go?
He did it again! I
God.
love it.
So fast out, going to go pick up Dogen. So he's going to try go Dogen and then speed to everything else possibly. God, it's going to be so close.
This
the problem
all comes
is
down to
Crabbi's-
where Yomsa goes. If Yomsa goes into Shibuya,
She has to go Kogane. There's no way. Like, she needs 1 square. You can sit Kogane and do this. There's no way that...
yeah, and honestly, by the time that Crabbi marks this square,
she's going to be ahead.
she's gonna know exactly where she needs to go. It does feel like Yomsa can close this one out.
Yeah, I
Damn
think
close,
Crabbi's pulling his wild card just a tiny bit late, or tiny bit early rather. He needs to be cleaning up and not get split across 2 areas, or in Kogane. So now with this marked, Yomsa ahead to both remaining squares. She needs but 1 to win. And oh my, what a set this has been.
Yeah, I think you called it perfectly there. Being kind of in the RDH area and then going for Dogen special does feel like a mistake, Crabbi. Yeah, like that's a powerful tool that you have available to you in having that already unlocked. But it's just quite simply, there's 2 squares in Kogane.
Yep. I mean, yeah, imagine if Crabbi could have taken bottom point 50, and then Yomsa has to decide where's Crabbi going. You put the burden on her to try and make that game happen, but instead, Yomsa runs forward, and with that square, locks in the Season 4 championship.
GG. Yomsa, our first ever 2-time Jet Set Radio Future Bingo champion, to back Season 3 and for a 3-1 win over Crabbi in the final. And what a fantastic display of bingo that was.
Really great game. Yomsa, just looking at the bingo chat, I did not see that diagonal. Alrighty, tricky diagonal action indeed.
The bingo classic.
It is. Great set from both of them. Do we want to have a chat with anybody? Oh my god. Yo. Hey, Santa Claus, I'm going to have to ask you to chill it out. Gonna have to call you out and chill it out.
Yeah, I mean, this was an
very
incredibly,
well.
incredibly tense situation. And when we're sitting here, being able to look at the board and weigh up all the options, it's a lot easier for us. But there is just so much deep strategy that goes into bingo, and there's no one be-all end-all strategy. There's no one way to win the game. It's just not that simple, and you have to respect your opponent. And that's what both of these players did.
Yeah, it was really a good match all throughout. Came down to just a few decisions, and unfortunately the beginning squares were a bit too much for Crabbi in the first couple games, and he just had to play perfectly for 3 games, which is just very difficult.
When you're put into that situation where suddenly you have to play perfectly, you cannot make a single mistake over the course of 3 games, having already just dropped 2. It is a monumental task. But nonetheless, I think a very fitting end to Season 4 that, probably the 2 players that grinded the hardest.
They wanted it the most.
They definitely wanted it the most, and that's kind of what it comes down to. Fantastic play on both players. A really great showcase of bingo. Great to see how 1v1 evolved from kind of the early days of bingo.
Yep, there's only so much Crabbi and I can do to push a 1v1 meta forward. And now, being over a year to year and a half since any significant 1v1 play has been done, this has been a nice season. It's been a little more one-sided in a lot of cases, but overall, when you get to the matches that show up, 1v1 gameplay is good stuff.
Absolutely, yeah. And I feel like I've learned so much about bingo strategy from this that I'll be able to take forward to improve my contributions to Jet Set Radio Future Bingo. And I mean, watch this space, because we do want to do more of this, absolutely. We have some awesome stuff in the works for a potential Season 5. And as AceBats mentioned previously, any information that you need about Jet Set Radio Future Bingo, find us in the Discord server, which is linked below the stream. If you want to watch back any of the VODs from this season or our 3 previous seasons, they're on the YouTube channel, which is also linked below the stream. Come join us for bingo, because it's great.
It's fantastic. Really enjoyed doing it. Thanks to everybody for putting it on. Shoutouts to the JSRF Bingo Wizards. Hey, that includes us, Ekla.
Yeah.
And as the core of the production team that made all the graphics and tech work before you, it's one of our favorite things to do. Thanks to Twinkachu for, putting the whole tournament on and being a TO and teching most of it. That's for the fantastic intros, and every player for some really baller matches, memes, and memories.
Yep. And on that note, let's hand it over to AceBats, if he's here with us, to sign us off for Season 4.
Oh, well,
I mean, you all said it so well, so there's only one thing that we can really say to sign off this season of Jet Set Radio Future Bingo. Thank you so much for watching, goodbye, and remember, it doesn't matter if you don't know the lingo, it's always a good time at Jet Set Radio Future Bingo.
And they stay there.
Also, happy birthday, Alice.